Welcome, everybody, to the inaugural episode of the Protective Insight podcast as presented by ProCypher. My name is Ben Cardle, and I'm the Director of Behavioral Insights at ProCypher. This is my colleague, Jim.
Hello, everybody. I'm
And
the Director of Protective Services at ProCypher, and we're going to try to bring something to you that's already starting off to be entertaining.
Exactly, and that's what I think goes over, and the reason why we're spending our time doing this is we have much more to say about the application of methods within the real world, as it said, because real life ain't exactly how it ain't exactly how it appears on a YouTube video or in a movie. So we're here to try and shed some light on arguably the most important variable of interactions, no matter what field of work that you're in. Granted, there'll be a focus given our backgrounds in terms of the security world, but when you look at problems, concerns, issues, successes, failures, dangerous areas, boring areas, low foot trafficked areas, it all has a one correlation of a human variable. And it seems to us, at least, that there should be more attention paid towards the understanding of humans than pouring on the newest motor skill or the newest technique or the newest certificate or the newest lecture that you've attended. Focusing on working with meeting your fellow man and understanding your fellow man in the myriad of different circumstances that we end up getting involved in is often the sharper way of doing things, and that's one of the big things that we're looking to push forward with at ProCypher. We have a laundry list of capabilities of things that we could push on anyone at any stage, but it's about a focus on what works, why it works, and why it works specifically for you. Because that's the tailor making parts of understanding a method. You can all attend the same lecture, but if me and you are sat in a lecture hall, I'm going to use whatever I've been taught in a very different way to how you've been taught, given that we come from different backgrounds, different experiences, different understandings of situations and the kind of fallout that happens as a result. And that's one of the things that we're pushing forward with here at ProCypher. So we're bringing you these podcasts to try and shed light on topics that we feel need to be addressed, to shed light onto techniques that we feel need to be addressed, and also to bring you industry-leading insight from some of the people who are leading the charge in this way in terms of rethinking how education within the specific security side of things should be done. That right, Jim?
100% correct, Ben. I don't know if I can even add anything to that other than we plan on taking you on a journey throughout these different aspects, because there's so many trends out there, so many people out there that are, and by no means too, like we're going to push what the status quo is per se, but we're going to push it with realism, things that are actually going to benefit the person that is looking to learn and adapt and excel given their particular role in the industry. So many people, and I'm going to have to keep using this and keep referencing Mike Pannone on this after listening to a term called entertainment. And you'll probably hear this come up a lot throughout different episodes where we talk to different people, because that's what we're seeing more and more today. We're seeing people sell products, push products that look like training. On the outside, to the layman, the person that's inexperienced, unknowing what the nuances are. Some people new to their industries or specifics that don't know these particular things, that just take it because it comes from this particular source. And then they eat up all that information and it's not relevant. They can't apply it and they're just fed a bunch of nonsense. So our goal throughout these different episodes is we're going to be spotlighting various trusted partners that we have worked with that fall in different aspects, from security driving to protective services, security organizations, to your tactical type training guys. We're going to be utilizing some different training videos that have been sent to us over time for evaluation to see what are the real world concepts going on here, because a lot of stuff is posted on Instagram and social media with zero context other than this is happening, and we see
Yeah.
a bunch of chaotic stuff happening, but there's nothing for really people to go in. And then when people are being questioned about the training they're providing, they get real defensive. That's from which is all key signs of people not having the experience or the background or even understanding what they're teaching in order to teach it. So we want to, for lack of better terms, bring light to and expose that,
Yeah.
and then show you here are some good vetted, organizations that provide good training that will help you. And it's going to cover various industries. We're going to be touching, as Ben said, security aspects, but you'll be seeing and finding as part of our process and our experiment, because we love everything human, is that we're going to show throughout these different partner spotlights from different parts of the industry and around, there's going to be some key components that are very similar when it comes to the human element within those parts, such as mindset, situational awareness, understanding of self-awareness, and how that can compile between a driver behind the wheel, the guy on a team in an executive protection team, a uniformed security guy, a guy doing training or teaching when it comes to self-defense or just regular defense of our families and selves in a different role entirety. So with that, I'll summarize it because I can talk on this forever, as I know Ben can well. We just want to bring something that's different and fresh, that it's not just Ben and I here looking at videos for 100 hours and then giving a breakdown, because anybody can do that. There really isn't any skill involved. We want
As
to bring you
YouTube
stuff,
proves.
real world, real time, and show you from people that actually have gone out there. Ben actually goes out there in the public and shows you the techniques and things that he does and utilizes. I will show you techniques and stuff I've used in the interview room and stuff out there when it comes to surveillance and stuff. And we'll see what's trending, what's going on out there, and we'll debunk some of these common things and show you why certain things failed, why certain things succeeded. And we're going to bring on people that are going to have these discussions with us. And if you feel like you want to come on and chat with us, by all means, Ben will have links on here. We've got a list of trusted partners. If you feel you've got something that you'd like to bring to the foresight to discuss or talk about and have an articulate, educated discussion. We're not looking for people to agree with us.
No.
We want to see and challenge that. Maybe your vision and maybe your opinion and training or technique is better. Maybe Ben and I haven't seen it yet, but
Yeah.
let's put it out there and put it to the test. And then we'll take it out in the real world and see it. We'll come back to you and tell you, hey, this is good training, or it's not so good training. Save your money and go over here to a trusted source that's going to give you something that's going to give you the better return of investment, a skill that you can utilize and readily apply to what it is that you're trying to do, so that you're not sitting here spinning your tires in the mud and saying, I spent thousands of dollars on this nonverbal behavior training, but I haven't learned anything. And, don't allow these snake oil salesmen
Oh
to take
God.
your hard-earned money away, especially in times like today. Let us help you save that and point you in the right direction and help you.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the many things that kind of motivated us doing this, is the acknowledgement of these issues that are arising through multiple industries. There are just as many flash in the pan kind of training solves for chefs as there are for foremen on a building site, as there are for teachers in the in the classroom and this kind of thing. And it all comes back to the humans that are bringing this forward, and one of those issues being that of entertainment, and these hundreds of thousands of sometimes millions of dollars, if you're a company, are bringing in these kinds of non-verbal training. You look for these 7 things to understand this, spot these 5 things to understand this, and like I've always said, I'm sure you've got your own coarse words about it. Yeah, I don't want to put that in your mouth. Is that if somebody's going to tell you that if I observe something about a human being, therefore it means this. Humans have to function in the way that equations do, and people don't work that way. People don't work that way, So
Yep.
if somebody's telling you, I've seen this, therefore this, they're either delusional, dishonest, or both.
100%.
Oh,
Because again, it comes down to there's no context in it, right? You're taking individuals which are all unique in their own matter and ways.
yeah,
Yes, we may speak the same language, but you're in the UK. We have different ways of living. We were brought up differently. there's different contexts culturally and everything else involved in it. And what one word means to me is not going to mean the same to you, Ben. And
100%.
it's like certain hand gestures, certain things with hands are different in the Middle East than they are here in the United States. Real quick, I was talking to a guy the other day. I was up in DC working, and he was telling me about he had made a travel and went over to I think it was Dubai, and he went into the bathroom and he saw a urinal with water running in it and thought it was a urinal. He's from the United States, started urinating in it, got arrested because he didn't realize, because it was written in Arabic, didn't know the language, didn't understand the culture, that was where they washed their feet and their hands for prayer.
Yeah.
It was not a urinal. It's a serious offense and blatant disrespect to the culture in the country. And it
Yeah.
was like awakening for him, like, whoa. So, there's these nuances that people don't touch on, which is going to
Massively.
be interesting because the people we get to bring on here and speak to are going to be guys that have been working in Mexico, you know, traveling overseas, Europe, Asia, and around. And we're going to give everyone all these different things because you could take all this training dependent on where you are, but it's all going to be different. The buzzword of the day is baseline, and baseline is really BS for the most part in the way a lot of way people teach it. Do
Yeah.
people have a certain level they work at? Sure, but it's an ebb and flow. It's never just a straight baseline. You'll have multiple levels and things given on the level of stress the person is, the
Yeah.
context of the situation. There's just so many things in there that you have to account for,
Yeah.
and you get all these people, like you said. Well, if they have A plus B equals C, and it's like, no, never.
No.
You know, Arms crossed, they're closed off. Actually, no, for that particular person, they're very comfortable. The rest of everything else, that's just how they are, and that's just as an individual. I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people who likes to sit there, and this is just comfortable for me and relaxing. It's like I'm just as open and have a good conversation with it would if I
Yeah.
was sitting here this or lean forward. It's understanding that person and meeting them where they're at, right? And each person is unique. Just because I do it doesn't mean it's the same for Ben or Joe or
Absolutely.
whoever. It's
Absolutely.
individual specific. We can't just put everyone in a box, put a bow on it, and say, here you go. And then, sorry, again, to sum up what you're saying, these companies pay millions of dollars for a lot of this stuff that isn't backed by anything. People claim it's results driven. Well, results by who and what results are you getting? I would like to challenge that. But then, secondly, okay, well, you've accounted for that, but it doesn't give you anything, just like the Paul Ekman model with the TSA
Yeah.
has yet to net any type of seizures or anything for Department of Homeland Security. Nothing's ever come about it other than the federal government in the U.S. spending tons of money for this system on micro expressions that hasn't done anything that it said it was going to do. I mean, they could throw money elsewhere to better projects, but they keep shelling money into this. So then it's like I would challenge you on that because
100%.
it's like over 93% of like business losses is due to humans,
Yeah.
but yet no one is
It's
doing anything,
radical.
right? We spend
No,
more
no.
money into cyber. Let's build another firewall. Well,
Of course.
firewall don't mean nothing if I have access to the guy that has the password to the computer using old school tradecraft, which I have found. There's this neat technology out there. There's this thing called the Flipper Zero that we can use for penetration testing,
Yeah.
and this thing is like unique. It can scan an ID card and a door and unlock all this different stuff for you. And then what I found the easiest way to defeat that thing is just to put an old fashioned deadbolt on the door.
Right?
They can't unlock it, right? Because it's old deadbolt. It's like people forget like some of the old school methods, like not having computers in your car or certain things there that can be accessed by tech. Those old school things work. Which brings me to like, yeah, you have all this fancy stuff in cyber, but what'll trump that all day long is understanding of the human tradecraft and access to humans because everything is run by a human.
Yeah.
And it's like,
100%.
hey, let's just not, but we'll just negate that and spend another millions of dollars on this firewall, but yet we don't know why we lost $1 billion in our IP still,
Absolutely.
and it's
Absolutely.
astonishing.
It's crackers. Like I think of it in terms of a mobile phone. Like with whether it's protected by my face or a code on my phone is my personal details, is my banking, is my messages, work messages, family messages, photos, addresses, phone numbers, everything. If somebody took an indirect focus on learning how I might have chosen my code,
Hmm.
keys to the kingdom, right there. Keys to the kingdom, and
Yeah,
it's a forgotten concept where the people really are the passwords in that
100%.
in that particular situation. There was if I might take it right the way back to the ancient Greeks. It's just popped into my head. Sorry, I'm not. I'm going to get up on my kind of nerdy level soapbox. Is Socrates? Socrates, when talking about the power of memory, hated that humans wrote things down. He said to write something down was to imbue you with the nature of forgetting. And that seems to be the way that we're going with security protocols. It's okay. I can develop a firewall. I can. AI is now being pushed towards certain deception methods, and you're thinking if you just spent a little bit longer looking at helping a human being. Granted, it is a huge cognitive load to bear to deal with all of that information and sift through all of the behavioral stuff. Fine. But if you put a little bit more effort into researching that, into understanding the way that people interact, it's going to be much safer and much more
Oh, 100%.
developmentally direct as a result.
Yeah, because people are going to tell you what they need. They're going to show you. If you got your eyes open, your ears open, two eyes, two ears, one mouth, right? Like we should be doing twice as much observing, twice as much listening as we do talking.
Absolutely.
And so many people like forget those things. Like people will tell you and show you what they need, and that's how you keep a happy employee too, right? Pay attention to those things. Those are elements of good leadership. And you don't see that a lot. Like just pay attention. Everyone's got different motivators, right? We'll get into the hierarchy of needs. Everyone is going to be at a different level. Some need that safety and security of the paycheck. Some want to be seen and recognized at a certain level, and be seen as intelligent within there with amongst their peers. So you give them those tools and feed those needs. You have happy employees. Happy employees aren't going to sell your information, you know,
It's
because if you
there.
neglect them and you turn your head, it's like even a lot of these different things going on today. If you go back, even if you get into start talking about some of the active shooter type events,
Yeah.
there's always signs. It's never one event that triggers these things. If you go back and look, there was one in Virginia a few years back, and it came down to the gentleman was turned down for a promotion. Told his wife that he had gotten the promotion. He was a gambler. The wife had spent a lot of money on different things, and it just put him in a financial. And it all added up to him going into work on a Friday. And this is what I never understood: is he wrote an email on a Friday morning saying he was leaving, and this was a long tenured employee. Nobody from HR sought him out. Nobody wanted to talk to him. No one touched base with him. He went home for lunch after writing an email that he was quitting that day, which you think would prompted some kind of interaction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Goes home for lunch, comes back after lunch, accesses the building with his access code, goes right into the office of the supervisor that turned him down for a promotion. That was the first person he shot and killed, amongst other people in there. And then when they went back and were interviewing coworkers, there was all signs there leading up to how he was a guy that would talk about sports, particular things and events. All of a sudden, wasn't talking to anybody about anything. Sit at his computer, close off. I mean, these are all little changes that if you're being observant, paying attention, looking around what's around you, you can feel and see. And a lot of times, the prevention aspect of this is something as simple as saying, "Hey, Joe, you haven't talked about
Yeah.
XYZ football club in the last couple of weeks, man. They've been on a hot streak, man. I think I thought you'd be excited."
Absolutely.
And they'd be like, "Wow, okay, one, you remembered his football team. You wouldn't acknowledge him. You saw him. Now you're waiting to hear him." That could be enough that brings somebody back and
Mm.
changes and alters a potential event because now someone's actually seen them, heard
Yeah.
them. Because that's the same thing with thieves, right? You can go in there and if you scan a good place, you go into a Starbucks, you pick out that person that has got the anomaly type behavior, and you make eye contact with a lot of these guys, and they know that they've been seen because a criminal, that's the way they work, right? Pickpockets, they don't want to be seen, but you make eye contact with them, you deter them from committing that act. They go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So how hard is it for us to stop for a minute, pause, make it about other people, which is what we should be doing all the time anyway,
Yeah.
and just make a simple comment thing or suggestion that can
100%.
just alter and change an outcome of an event.
100%. 100%. You find that with a lot of situations that require de-escalation methods. It's usually two focal people that have tried to meet each other I've said something. Now I've said something worse. Now I'm getting a bit aggressive. Now I'm getting more aggressive. You know, the challenge of the masculine this way around. Whereas if one of them just stop for a minute to not focus on that and focus on why he wants to escalate this, or applied the direction of your observation to removing his want to be physical, addressing that,
Yeah,
to certain concerns, the situation goes away easier. By no means easy, but it goes away easier
yeah.
in that way. People are the creators of everything that exists today, pretty much,
Well,
right?
100%. Because what you project, you receive. And in those situations that you just explained, that to me is parts of ego. And
Yeah,
I've always expressed ego as an emotion.
yeah,
And the way I look at it is if people are emotional, they're irrational. So
yes,
nothing good is ever going to happen. It's like two rams butting their heads. So yeah, at some point, you need to realize that the more aware you are of yourself and the situation, and you see that beginning to happen, that's when you got to stop, lower your tone, don't get argumentative, understand it's not about you, this person about it, and then Shelby, because if you can get your logical brain going and then
yeah,
slow that down, guess what? With time, the other person goes from being irrational to rational. Their logical brain's going, and guess what? Now we can resolve. Now we've de-escalated. It shouldn't be a battle of one-upsmanship. It's
no,
never about that. It's like, stop. You should already know that
yeah,
someone's having a crappy day. It's not about us. I just
no,
happened to run into you at the wrong place at the wrong time of day. They've had X, Y, Z events. Like we said, it's never a singular event that's going to get someone there. Maybe the kids woke up late and they got them to school late, and then
yeah,
this happened, or the boss called and needs you there early for a meeting. And there's like all these different little stressors and things that trigger them throughout. And you just happen to be the guy that gets in front of them at the gas pump, you know, and for unknown reasons, but known to you at the time, this is what happened, transpired.
absolutely.
It's not about me. Why am I going to get to a fight that leads to
Not
something
about you.
escalated where someone can get hurt or loss of life? Step back, pick and
Exactly.
choose the battles, and just know
Me
that
too.
not everything is about you and it doesn't concern you. Have that understanding, about it. There's another thing. It was Mike Pannone again. I can't wait to get him. We're going to get him on here and chat with him. But he talks about this guy was a Marine reconnaissance guy. He was a Delta operator and everything else. And one thing he talks about in the classes is when he got out and transitioned to the civilian world was knowing when to surrender. Doesn't mean the guy doesn't know how to fight and gunfight. He's
Beautiful.
been there, battle tested. He's been
Beautiful.
blown up. The guy's got a heck of a story.
Mm.
But someone with all that skill and understanding and knowledge and experience, what he's been exposed to, sits there and goes, know when to surrender,
Yeah.
know when to go, hey, walk away. I don't need to be in this fight. This is an unnecessary fight. Why? I got a family to go home to. I've
Yeah.
got a wife. I've got a kid. Is it really worth me escalating, especially here in the States, because you don't know who's carrying what type of weapon, what type of drug they may be on,
Yeah.
just how close are they to that edge where they're going
The
to push that
tipping
button,
point. Yeah. Yeah.
and why do you want to be in that, all of a sudden go from having a good day to a fight of your life to where you may not survive that
Mm.
over what? I'd rather just buy you a dollar cup of coffee and
Yeah.
say, hey man, I'm sorry you're having a crappy day. Hope this makes you feel better,
Yeah.
you know, and go on about my business. You don't have to do that all the time. And that seems to be a lot of people when they watch, so going back to the beginning, what we're talking about here,
Yeah. Yeah.
people get on social media and they watch all this training and they get all this, we need to be aggressive, we need to fight, fight, fight. And it's like, no man, it's good to have those skills. I mean, what was the old quote? Um, it is better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
I
You
like that.
know,
I like that.
so have the skills, but be peaceful and humble. Notice, be out there, know
Yeah.
that you have the skills, and when it's time to unleash those skills, you do so.
Absolutely.
But you don't want to not have any of those skills and then find yourself in a situation where it's going to be you've escalated. You don't know what you're escalating against, and here you go. And now
Yeah.
someone's got to explain to your family why you just couldn't walk away, and now you're no longer here, or maybe you're bedridden or in a wheelchair, or your quality of life is now just disintegrated before
Absolutely.
your eyes for
Yeah.
no reason.
If we had the capacity to just stop them in the moment, to freeze time almost, and say, "What are you going to get out of this? What's the positive outcome here?"
Yeah,
When they struggle to kind of verbalize what that would be, just
yeah.
ego's not always going to really be your friend in that scenario, and that's going to be something that we'll get
Uh,
into.
Yes,
we'll
it's
get into.
harnessing the healthy ego, right? And just
Yeah,
understanding that, like I
it's a
said, that'd be fun for
balance.
us to get down the road. Yes, it's all
Absolutely.
about it. It's
Absolutely.
understanding, but it all comes to ourselves, right? Understanding who we are,
Yeah,
self awareness, and once we have a good understanding of ourselves, our story, what our strengths, weaknesses, all those different things we develop, and have a good development understanding of who we are individually, then that allows us to be situationally aware and helps us even be better people to help
yeah,
others. But until we do that work, a lot of us are fractionalized. We've had different
100%.
traumas, different events and things there, and we try to mask them, which is why we get into these talks about masks. But I found that if you go in to those spots of, you get into Jung's, shadow,
Yeah,
I like to bring that up. And, you go in there and you
yeah,
face that shadow, face those parts and say, hey, we're not scared of this. And we address those parts. The masks are irrelevant because now that you've done the internal work, there's no need for you to be anything but your authentic self. And I think
exactly.
the sooner people can get that, understand it, but people put the mask on because nobody wants to do that hard internal work because it sucks, man.
Exactly.
Like you find
Exactly.
yourself in a
Write it
lonely
down. It'll
spot
do
and
it for
place,
me.
but to do that
Yeah,
internal work and get there, one, you come out so much better on the other side, and you find yourself living, just to me, a better, more fulfilled life out of it. But
amen
you
to
don't
that.
have to worry about, I got to be, no, just be you, man. And you learn that everybody's not your cup of tea. People are going to like you, and some people aren't going to like you. That's life. That's okay.
Yeah,
I don't need everyone to like me. You
yeah,
know, I'm sure we're going to have a lot of viewers that'll probably love this podcast. We'll probably get some comments here and there because of the
yeah.
different things we get into, a little controversial. I know we're going to probably generate some people that are like, hey, but by all means, challenge. That's your right, your opinion. We don't
100%.
all have to all agree, but you know what? We'll at least be able to back our stuff up with proven concepts, techniques,
Exactly.
science, everything behind it, and go from
Exactly.
there. And then you go on your way. We're going to keep doing our thing, and we're going to just enjoy life the best way we can.
Exactly. Exactly. Just because we challenge you doesn't mean we don't like you.
100%. Well, if people are
Right.
not challenging you, right? Then how am I going to get you to grow, right? How am I going to grow, Ben, if you don't challenge me outside the box? Your memory
100%.
courses and stuff like that. Challenge the heck out of me because I'm one of like, hey, the sun list is basic for a lot of people. The sun list kicked my butt when it came to a memory technique, just because it's not something I'm used to. But I challenged and did it.
Yeah.
We created a nice little
We
30
smashed it.
behavior memory course out of it. So you got to get out the comfort zone. Nothing ever good happens being complacent and comfortable.
Agreed.
Challenge it, and that's what we want to do is challenge it and get you challenging these things. Challenge what you see on
Exactly.
social media. We'll give you some key questions to ask yourself as you're doing it, and go and start processing people through a different lens and
Yeah.
perspective. And if it meets what you're looking for, great, keep doing it. If it doesn't, then no, and make those adjustments to make sure you're getting the most value and growth opportunity you can out of those things that you're going to suck in and take in.
100%. So the first challenge you're all going to face is how much time you're going to dedicate to listening to this podcast and the lessons that we're going to attempt to provide and some of the interesting conversations that we're going to bring to you from some of our trusted partners around the world so that they can share their wisdom with you and share their stories and share their journeys with you. So I think if we were going to leave you on any salient point for this first episode, it would be that it's not about you. And that would be my kind of salient point for it. Do you agree? Disagree, Jim?
100% agree.
Love it. So with that in mind, folks, we will see you next time. Thank you very much for stopping by and tuning in and commenting and getting involved. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast when and where you can. It really does help. And it is free after all. So much in this world isn't anymore. And so you'd be really helping us out if you chose to follow this journey along. Thank you very much for your interest. And we'll talk to you all soon. Take care.
Take care. Take care, everybody.